We're back in session. I apologize for the inconvenience of our audio problem. We'll do better in the future to make sure this doesn't occur. Mayor Damiano, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, we have a couple of proclamations that we're going to read. And what we're going to do this evening is for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And in reading this proclamation this evening, I'm going to ask two individuals to join me up here in front of the room. The first is Denise Organizak, and the other is Patricia Klein. And that's them to join me up here so that we can read this proclamation. And I'm going to ask them to tell a little story about themselves, the personal story, whatever they'd like to share. The proclamation reads, whereas breast cancer is the second most commonly diagnosed form of cancer for women in the United States. In each year, 255,000 women and 2,300 men are diagnosed each year. And whereas mammography, an X-ray of the breast, is recognized as a single most effective method of detecting breast changes long before physical symptoms can be seen or felt. Early detection and improved treatment is believed to have significantly reduced the number of deaths caused by breast cancer. Whereas researchers, scientists, and numerous nonprofit organizations are dedicated to discovering the cure for breast cancer. During the month of October, we acknowledge the extraordinary commitment and effort invested in this cause. Whereas we recognize that over 3.8 million Americans are breast cancer survivors that give us hope for a better future. Now, therefore, with support of those who continue to cope with breast cancer, I, James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, on behalf of the Township Council, extend our deepest respect for survivors and those advocating for prevention and a cure. And in doing so, I hereby proclaim October 2023 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And again, I am joined now by two individuals who have very special stories. I'm going to turn the microphone over to them to say a few words if they'd like, because I'm standing here next to them at the great styles of it.
Thank you, Mayor. Hi, everybody. My name is Denise Organizak, and I am your neighbor from 300 Main Street. And I am a 15-year resident of Little Falls, and I have been volunteering for the past 9 years with the American Cancer Society in my team days of Township. And I formed my team 9 years ago upon the death, unfortunately, of my mom, who was also a Little Falls resident, who was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And from the time of her diagnosis to the time she passed, we only had about a month with her. So it was very hard for my family. A lot of things were changing in our lives, and there was a lot of energy and a lot of things going on. And then when she passed, I was just left with all this energy and still wanting to help my mom, but she wasn't around anymore. And so that's when me and my family decided to join with the American Cancer Society and raise money for this very, very important cause that's the most dear to my heart. And with the support of this lovely community, I have been able to be a really effective fundraiser for this cause, and we've done a lot of great things in town. Mayor has been part of my fundraising. He was one of the men in pink in one of my fundraising calendars. And also over in the mill, we have a great dog calendar that features all the dogs from the mill and our hopes for a cancer-free future. So my name is Denise, I'm your neighbor. If you have any questions, if you want to volunteer, if you want to join us, please come see me. Or you can access the American Cancer Society on your own. We're at cancer.org. And thank you, Mayor, for inviting us today. Thank you.
And I don't know who's starting when everybody arrived this evening, but the municipal building is lit up pink tonight for breast cancer awareness. So if you happen to see it when you arrive, be sure to take a look as you maybe see. Our four proclamations this evening. One technical issue solved. All right, I think we have. Okay, so. The two additional proclamations that we have this evening, one is for Fire Prevention Month. Here we whereas Fire Prevention Week this year falls between October 8th and October 14th. And the theme is prevent kitchen fires, cook with care. And whereas fire is a serious public safety issue in resident homes for a great risk for fire. And whereas smoke alarms can alert you of danger in the event of fire, in which you have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas first responders are dedicated to the safety and well-being of our residents. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford, Indiana, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim October 8th through October 14th, 2023, as Fire Prevention Week in the Township facilities. And on that note, on October 14th, the last day of Fire Prevention Week here in Little Falls, ironically, there was an actual fire at a home here in town. It was not in the actual home itself, it was in a little house off the pool area. Unfortunately, while there were some individuals in there, they were very noticed the smoke filling. Immediately called the fire department, who was there within minutes to knock the fire down and keep it safe. So with that, a huge thank you to our local fire department for everything that they do, showing up at a moment's notice to knock down a fire. So thank you to our local fire department for keeping all of us safe here in town. And the last proclamation this evening is National First Responders Day. And whereas National First Responders Day is recognized on October 28th, it is time to honor the men and women who make it their mission to take action when disaster strikes. And whereas we celebrate those who are the first to run toward the crisis and dedicate their lives to saving others. And whereas we pay tribute to the many hours around the clock these individuals give to our community. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford, Indiana, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim October 28th, 2023 as National First Responders Day in the Township. And that wraps up the three proclamations this evening, and we can move on with the rest of the.
So this evening, we have the Historical Society with us to give us their annual review of their update on 35 Stevens. Mr. Vettery is going to lead that review. The whole quick backstory to 35 Stevens was it was an empty building that the Historical Society felt they could resurrect and had great community value for the community. The council was faced with the decision of spending over $1,300,000 of taxpayers' monies if the governing body was going to do it. But the Historical Society came forth, we worked out an agreement, and we're anxious to hear your progress.
Thank you. First of all, John Vettery from Little Falls Historical Society, and I would like to thank the mayor, the council members that helped with this, because if it were not for their vision and leadership, that would be a pile of rubble right now. And that's a true statement. We worked very hard with them, and they came back to us with a lot of good questions, and we went back and forth with reports, and we saw the vision, and the town saw the vision, and truly is going to be a wonderful new landmark. And we have a new tagline we've been talking about, which is everything old is new again. You're going to see that in a promotion that's coming out soon. So we emailed a reduced amount of pictures. I know there's still probably about 100 of them. So as I'm talking, you can just scroll through them, and I'm going to give a little bit of an update. So again, thank you. Sure. So we have Little Falls Historical Society here. We have our secretary, Mary Ann Kilpatrick. We have our vice president, George Eaton. We have our treasurer, Peggy O'Levy. We have trustee Mike Paklavisak, trustee Tom Kasmark, and trustee Marianne Basic. And we all know the good chairman, who is a friend of the society, Walter Kilpatrick, who by default helps us out with a lot of things as well, and we thank him as well. So I have emailed you copies of our annual report, which is an obligation of the society as set forth in our lease agreement with the township, and I've broken it up into a few sections. So the first section is where are we with funding and grants? Second is what we've done with design, planning, and the permitting process. The third section is what construction have we completed? And then lastly is where are we with construction that's in progress and that under contract right now. So with respect to funding and grants, I'm happy to report that we have taken in funds of almost $300,000. This project is being funded solely by grants and private donations, and the breakup of those monies, and that does not include pledges that have been made by individuals and corporations in the township that we just haven't received the money. So of that, it's about $145,000 that has been received as part of our private capital campaign. In addition, we have received a $10,000 grant from Visions Federal Credit Union, $25,000 grant from the Little Falls Ed Foundation for our mural project, and a $100,000 grant from the Passaic County Open Space Trust Fund that is solely earmarked just for the roof project. And I'm going to speak about that in a moment. In addition, we were recently notified, in fact, the mayor texted me when he saw it, I guess you got advance notice, that we were the recipient of a grant from the New Jersey Historic Trust, which is the first that the society has ever gotten in their, nearly 60-year history. And we're excited about that, more so, not so much from the perspective of the amount. It's a $13,725 grant, but more from the perspective that they see the value of this building and they see what this building can do. Many times you have a vacant building that's historic and you plan on having just a museum that sits there without any life. But and for members of the public that don't know, we have a lot of components to this building that include, a visitor center for the Morris Canal, the first ever in Passaic County, a new space for Ethan and the Bean, a coffee house that employs individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It has the first ever Little Falls Museum, as well as a Center for Culture, Arts, and History in the wonderful 1,200 square foot courtroom upstairs. So that's where we are with our funding and grants. You're going to be seeing a mailer come out. We're embarking on our 2024 campaign. So that's funding and grants. With respect to design, planning, and permitting, it's in the report, but we've already completed all the architectural plans. They're submitted to the township. We have permits for the building, electrical, plumbing. We hired a structural engineer that examined the building. If you recall, when you walked into the section, if you're facing the building to the left, there was a raised floor that was done at some point, we believe, maybe when the Eagle Hose Company left that building and they elevated the floor. We had some concerns about that from a structural standpoint, and we've hired a structural engineer to review that. In addition, and you'll see on some of the pictures, we had to install two very large beams, new support beams that was recommended, and that work is completed as well. We did a full evaluation of the roof structure. If you recall, in our 2022 grant application to the county, it was just for a repair and replacement of the roof. When the professionals looked at the roof, they said this is a 110-year-old roof. It's amazing it's not leaking, but there is no repair. This is a full replacement. And the cost of the replacement of that roof is $140,000, $100,000 being funded by Passaic County, with $40,000 being funded by the Little Falls Historical Society. We then completed a full assessment of the asbestos in the building. We were told that we would be able to encapsulate the asbestos or leave the floor tiles. And we just thought as a board that it was important to tell the public that we have removed all the asbestos. We didn't encapsulate it. We didn't cover it. It's been fully removed in accordance with state law. That work was done. We charged our contractor with getting that done last year prior to school starting, and they got it done on August 31st. Then we hired a company to camera the sewer line and discovered that, and you'll see one of the pictures, that PSE&G put a phone pole on top of the sewer line, thereby cracking the sewer line. So to their credit, they fixed that. And on our side, we put a brand new sewer line throughout the building and all new plumbing in the building. So construction completed in section 3. We've removed, and you can see in the pictures, we've removed 8 dumpsters of contents of carpeting, of linoleum flooring, of, you go through the decades and you can see wall covering, drop ceilings, fluorescent lighting. There were 3 heating and air conditioning systems throughout the building. There was steam, there was electric, there was baseboard. There was ventilation, and there's one of the pictures you'll see was the original boiler in that building was massive. It was like the size of two of these desks put together. And that took a lot to get that out of there and have a crane remove it. Yet you're seeing here, we revealed that there is a pressed tin ceiling in the building that's we intend to restore. We found a company in Brooklyn that we thought may have actually done this building. They're a fourth generation. They've been around since the late 1800s, and Abington came out to the building. They have a portion of that pattern, and they're going to recreate the pattern for us. So in addition to the removal of the contents, the complete asbestos removal, all the steam radiators, ductwork paneling, removal of the boiler, the installation of the structural beams. We have now completed framing. Now that the plumbing is done, we have actually completed framing for the two new handicap accessible bathrooms. We demolished the upstairs bathroom. We were able, by the skin of our teeth, we're able to put an ADA accessible bathroom on the second floor. And in the rear of the building, there was, when we took up the flooring, there was actually dirt. There was wood slats and dirt in between. So you saw the picture of Salomon's truck there. We excavated that, removed that, put in the proper footings, and poured a brand new slab for a major portion of the first floor. In addition, we fixed, sandblasted, and then painted with the specialized epoxy paint right there, the fire escape, removed all the shrubs, elevated the oak tree, fixed and painted all the trim. And as I mentioned, we installed a brand new sewer line. So we've done a lot of work. We've spent a lot of money, but it's, you know, people pass by and say, you guys haven't done anything. I think, yes, we have. We've done a lot. But in fairness to people that say we haven't done anything, they don't see it. And it is a lot of the stuff that we need to do that needs to happen in order to have an adaptive reuse. And now is the fun part. Now we could add, like, the public will finally see, we just signed a contract with Deltec Inc. out of Trenton, New Jersey. They are known for the restoration at Day Mansion, at Kipps Castle, at West Point, Princeton University. So this is a rather small job for them. They were highly recommended to us after they put the brand new cypress roof on Day Mansion. So we signed a contract with them. The slate has been ordered, and we'll see a brand new roof being installed in that building, hopefully within weeks. Within the next 4 to 6 weeks, that will be an authentic slate roof building with real copper gutters and leaders, real copper snow guards. So that's something that, now we can start putting the building back together. In addition, we have removed all the old electrical in the building. We have a temporary electric installed at the building, and we will be installing new separately metered 200 amp system throughout the building. Plumbing, most of the plumbing is done. The HVAC is another huge job because currently the building has no HVAC whatsoever. We removed all the systems, and we'll be doing a new state-of-the-art system that will allow the building to be used at different times without having to heat the entire building. So there'll be a separately zoned heating and air conditioning system that will come from the attic down for the courtroom, one for the 4 offices upstairs, one for Ethan and the Bean, and then one for the Little Falls Museum, the Morris Canal, and the common areas. In addition, Ethan and the Bean has hired an expert in building kitchens. So this is going to be a really exciting thing for Ethan and the Bean. For those of you that don't know, they just opened a new location in Morristown at the new corporate headquarters of Valley National Bank. And they use the same contractor and the same consultant that they had for that project on this project, and they have a really very exciting plan. I spoke a bit about the tin ceilings, and that will be something that will come later on. And then lastly, on the flooring upstairs, we have different ideas from different contractors. I personally don't believe any of it can be saved. It's very rough. After taking up the asbestos tiles, taking up the old flooring, it's really in poor shape. But I think it gives us an opportunity. It is very expensive to put in and install brand new wood flooring. It'll look beautiful when it's done. And we intend to do the same on the first floor. There's very little original flooring on that first floor, just really just the hallway. So that's a summary of where we are. You're seeing here some of the pictures of the building now being put back together. We continue to meet with donors because none of this can happen without donations and grants. And there's a long lead time associated with getting these grants. You submit them and you wait months and months and months to get them, but we're very happy with the progress and here to answer any questions that the council or the public may have.
Thank you, Mr. Verdi, for that final presentation. Does the council have any questions? Mr. Verdi, I know you signed an agreement with the Historical Society. Would you like to talk about the immediate extension of that agreement?
Sure. So the agreement, I believe, gave a 2-year window, which we knew was aggressive in order to complete the building with some timeframes associated with that. I think it may be another, Mr. Wenzel can correct, I think it's another 6 months beyond that. And I think we signed the contract around June 1st of 22. So that would come. That would probably take us to the end of next year for completion. And, given that the next grant cycle comes in March, and we're expecting a sizable grant, hopefully from the county as well as from the state, and in addition to our private funding and just materials and labor, everything has taken some time. So we are respectfully requesting a 1-year extension of that time frame.
Does the council members have any questions regarding the extension or the agreement that was signed by the town and the Historical Society? Mr. Bailey, we'll take that extension under advisement and we'll get back to the Historical Society. I think it's only fair that the Councilman Murphy and Councilman Patel fully understand how that agreement works. They were not on this governing body when it was signed, unless they feel open to say yes at this evening. Otherwise, we can spend time to go over that
I
agreement.
can email some more pictures if needed.
I think Councilman Patel and Councilman Murphy and the rest of the council have quite a few pictures. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yes, through the floor, Councilman Murphy.
So for the presentation, I also want to thank you. I know we had the master plan committee walked us through the building and gave us an in-person tour as well. We'll see the progress that.
Thank you.
So, Council President, it's 1 year. I'm okay with agreeing to that. I'm Councilman Patel.
I'm okay with that.
Council Wenzel, seeing that there's no objections from the council, can we, what are you asking for the extension?
1 year.
1 year.
I will have to deal with Mr. Frederick.
Okay,
Oh, boy.
please do so. And
Take that burden.
governing body appreciates what you're doing. Mayor, would you like to say anything on this project?
One of the comments that Mr. Frederick made, this building, it was certainly a landlord for a lot of years. And unfortunately, after it was vacated, it sat on a period of time, it fell into a more state of disrepair than it was in when it was vacated, and it wasn't in great shape at that time. There was serious thought that this council, I know, was somewhat unwilling to spend $1.5 to $2+ million of taxpayer dollars to restore that building without knowing what its future was after restoring that building. And it didn't seem like it had prudent expense to take on by the municipality. So I do want to thank the Historical Society for everything they've done in partnering with the township, making this something that is going to really benefit the township, and that it didn't cost the taxpayers a single dollar to get this building restored, and that we will still have this beautiful building. And I really do look forward to the outside of the building completely being restored as well, because that is something that I think will really draw into the inside of the building. Really saw the work that has been done in there. But let's all come together and really looking forward to the beauty that we have.
Thank you, Mayor.
On behalf of this governing body, thank you, Mr. Reddy, and thank you, Historical Society.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Kuchar, discussion of best practices inventory. So the floor is yours.
President, this will be very short.
Thank you.
I'm pleased to report that on the best practices inventory, the township scored a score of 40.50 on all core competency questions. The questions covered budget, capital projects, cybersecurity, financial administration, garbage and trash recycling, personnel, procurement, and shared service. This is a continuing process that the state of New Jersey makes us do every year. And because we scored so high, there will be no aid with that.
Thank you. Good job. Thank you. Any questions regarding discussion of best practices inventory? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Mayor.
Best practices in shoring is something that does determine the amount of grants that municipalities receive, the amount of aid that we receive from the state. And scoring this high has allowed municipalities to receive grants that allow them to do things like streetscape that no cost. We get, $600,000, $700,000 towards our parks every month of the year. So it is incredibly important that the back end work that is done here administratively be completed up to par, and it has been. And I want to thank our business administrator, our assistant business administrator, our clerks, and everybody that's involved here in town, ensuring that we're meeting over best practices. Because again, without that, we could all be paying the real price for these things not being completed. They're not always simple things. Some of them are tedious and onerous. But the fact that they are completed allows all of us as taxpayers to see additional relief, additional grant funding, and do it by the town. So thank you all the municipal employees that have made that happen.
To approve the minutes of August 28, 2023, moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Hablitz. This is a roll call to approve the minutes of August 28, 2023.
Councilmember Patel. Councilmember Murphy.
Yes.
Councilmember Howland. Yes. Councilmember Vanchery.
Abstain.
Council President Scobah.
Yes. The second, this item about transportation committee is for information only. Councilman Vanchery, would you like to introduce your two new members?
Sure. Thank you, Council President. With our Transportation Committee, I'm pleased to announce that we are expanding our number of members and want to welcome Wendy Zulaga as well as Bonnie Nolan to our committee. Both have expressed an interest over the past few months and have joined us on several occasions to share some insights and thoughts about what's going on around town. So just want to say congratulations and welcome to the committee.
For those in attendance, you're welcome to stay throughout the meeting. For those that you would like to leave, we don't write down your license plate numbers or anything. You're welcome to leave, We're going to continue. Kevin, motion to open the meeting to the public? Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. All those in favor? All those opposed? The floor is now open for general and agenda items. Someone's in the chat?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, roll. Oh, voice vote. I didn't ask for a voice vote. That's what you're saying. Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Kraus, read the comments, please. Thank you.
Anyone wishing to address the council council may do so to the council president. We prefer to keep your name addressed for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the council president. Members of the public who join the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand to an application. The meeting moderator will please members of the public that wish to provide comment. The council president will recognize any order. Members of the public who join the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who join the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reaction icon and then the raising icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Mrs. Kraus for doing that. So the floor is now open. Mr. Kushner, is there anyone in the chat that would like to speak to us? Is there anyone in the council chambers that would like to come forth? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to close the public comment? Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Items to be discussed, Mayor, 1 through 8.
Items to discuss, and most of these have actually previously discussed. I won't give the meeting version of those. Item number 1 is a new item. It's a resolution which previously approved by resolution not we're going to go for around the units. And it's 3 items here this evening. It turns out that each one of those was initially overpaid by $50 to assist in the affordable units. The fact of the matter was the numbers that we received the company that administers our program. The number was off by $50. In order to correct this, it is additional steps. They can't just send us $150 back. So what we need to do is we need to pass these 3 resolutions, whereby we will then be from $50 for each of them. So we will be squared up. So that is what that is. This is more of an administrative thing, but because each one of these requires resolutions in order to modify it, we pass on the resolution.
Discuss what the affordable housing is, please.
We currently have over $1 million.
Sorry,
About $1 million in our
in the developers, co-developers,
a little over $1 million currently in our co-developers And what the state of New Jersey wants is to see that money spent over time, and they want to see moves made to assist those that need assistance in their rent. And in order to do so, you can apply through the state website, and you can apply for affordability assistance and the units that are affordable. And in doing so, what they're doing to assist the renters is providing a first month payment on the behalf that they can utilize hopefully would have been the first month. Help furnish their unit and its improvements to their area. So that is one way that we are utilizing these funds, and that is what items A through C are receiving, but again, for a refund of $50.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right, item number 2 is a resolution awarding a contract to the Darling for Francisco Ave, Lindsay Road, and Cedar Grove Road intersection improvements. And this has been a long time coming, thank you to Councilman Kristen Cherry for persistently following up on this over 3 years now, maybe 4 years now. That this works. But we are finally going to see the light at the end of the tunnel here on this project. And I was very pleased to see that the amount to install a traffic light in this intersection was $303,455. I believe that figure is far less than we had initially anticipated, which is outstanding. And I am happy to see that once this is approved, we will then be able to have a construction meetings and get underway with the installation of a much needed traffic light at Cedar Grove Road, Francisco, and the Global Road intersection. So we thankful again to the councilman here for consistently making sure that we move forward. There were a number of hiccups as we went through the steps, there was issues with the county, because they are intersecting county roads, so multiple county roads right there. So we were finally get through all of those, and we are now going to very soon see the installation of traffic light in that intersection.
Councilman Vanchery, is there anything you want to add to this project?
Thanks, Council President. Like the mayor said, it's finally happening. It has been a long process to get this to where it is right now. I'm just grateful for our engineer, Mr. Joe Primonti. He took the reins over earlier this year and said, we'll get this done. We'll do what needs to get done from a county standpoint. And, he delivered on his word. I had a chance to talk the other day to Detective Mancato, because him and I started this project about 3+ years ago. And I said to John, look, it's finally happening. So we're definitely looking forward to this. I know it's potentially going to be up and running hopefully by the spring. So it's something that has been needed. We've come close to about 100 accidents at that intersection since 2018, which is way more than it should be. So hopefully when it is installed, it's going to help calm that problem. But again, just grateful that this is finally happening. And I got to give kudos to the Transportation Committee as well, because we all pushed for this and we're almost there. So thank you.
President, the next thing this evening is for resolution E. It is number 3 on my report this evening. It's a resolution authorizing chapter 159 resolution to state number funding grant is for $445. And something that we have already prided ourselves on during those loans is for those that have mental issue coming forward to the president, so questions, anxiety, anything else, you should step forward and make it happen. But one thing that we have been missing during those loans is the stigma-free signs as you enter the municipality. You see, you may see them, you usually clean in other municipalities that you see try to be stigma-free, it has the municipality's name there. We ordered 9 signs that are 10 by 8, 18 by 8, that will be the green signs that you see everywhere else, indicating that local is proud to be stigma-free. So you will see them going up at most of the ways that you can enter the municipality. So we're happy to have those going up. And again, those are all being funded by a grant, so there's no cost to the municipality with those. So we're looking forward to that. Any questions with respect to
Councilman Vanchery to the floor.
Mayor, obviously, we're getting these through a grant. We also maybe put it on the website, to post this and also take the stigma-free logo and place it on the site as well. Scott.
Absolutely. Again, that actually wraps up my report this evening. The other items are items that are on ordinances. They have all been discussed and they have all been previously.
Councilman Bench, second by Councilman McDowell. This is a roll call.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Trump?
Yes, Councilman, can you please explain what a blue light permit is and what it's used for?
So in the fire department, we have many volunteers. And when a fire alarm comes in, they have to respond to the buildings. So what a blue light permit is, gives them the ability to have a emergency light in the windshield to be able to get the firehouse a little faster. They can't have sirens or anything like that, but it does allow them to get the firehouse just a tad quicker. So if you see them, there is a blue light that's flashing, that's what it is, they're trying to get the firehouse. So we have a new member that's just joined about a month or two ago at this point. And he's been a great addition to the fire department, so he's putting the blue light on.
Glad to know that there's people joining. Kevin, motion to approve this. Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Patel. This is a roll call to approve the blue light permit.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Trump?
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1469.
Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls, in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code of 280 entitled zoning.
1469 is now open. Does anyone wish to come forward? Mr. Kusia, anyone in the chat? Seeing no one's come forward, the public hearing on 1469 is now closed. Can I have a motion to adopt 1469?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Havelitz. This is a roll call to adopt 1469. Mrs. Kraus, call the roll, please.
This decision. After we spoke to about thousands of residents, an overwhelming majority of them had great concerns, which I believe to be legitimate, and so I do not believe at this time that retail cannabis store is appropriate for Little Falls until my vote is up.
Councilmember Murphy?
Thank you. Just to detail off of what Councilman Patel had said. Yeah, we spent many months going door to door. I know we sent many residents, spoke with them. Luckily, there's establishments that are around us. And I spoke with many who were involved in the cannabis industry who did have some concerns as well. And so because of that, I'm not knowing this time.
Councilmember Havelitz?
I would like to also make a comment and say, we have also done our due diligence. I've spoken to many residents since April, and I have found the opposite, that lots of people are in favor. It is a legal business here in Little Falls, and therefore I will be voting yes.
Councilmember Vanchery?
Sure. I'm going to say yes as well. And, to Councilwoman Havlitz's point, I mean, we did a lot of research. I think each of us has spent time at various establishments, asked a lot of questions, done our homework, read a lot of articles, and, the location on Route 46 was an ideal spot for us in Little Falls. So again, my vote is yes.
Council President Trump?
Yes. Mrs. Kraus, please, it's 1470.
Second reading of public hearing of ordinance number 1470, an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls, in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to amend chapter 7 on street regulations of the code of the Township of Little Falls.
1470 is now open. Does anyone wish to come forward? Mr. Kusia, anyone in the chat?
Yes.
See no one here. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jim Doran, 22 Riverview Circle.
1470, sir.
Yes. I'm puzzled by the explanations of the two no votes. I didn't.
Yes. So this is something 1470 at this point.
Yeah, no, that's not this ordinance. If I can, Council President.
The floor, Council Wendell is going to explain how the process works.
So we had that vote and I don't want to stop a member of the public from speaking, but this is on 1470, which is for the safety sticks, I believe. But there is another public comment period, which I'm sure that at that point you can come up for it.
Does anyone have any issue with 1470 from the public or from the chat? You're welcome to come to the floor.
Question. Hi, my name is
Yes, hi, your name, please.
Aaliyah.
First name and last name, please.
Aaliyah Hubei.
Thank you.
So I just have a general question about these. Where can we read them before they're voted on?
The ordinances.
Yes.
Counselor.
So the ordinances by statute are required to be published in the newspaper, believe it or not, but you can actually access classified online as well, and you post
We
it up.
also post them on the website, on the township website.
With the amendments that you're voting on.
Right, everything that's being voted on is required by law to be, it is required by law to be published in advance, and it's also posted, the clerk posts it on the website.
Right, and we also include copies in the back of the room if you want to take one to read.
Okay, so the newspaper, website, come in person and grab copies. Okay, thank you.
Email blast.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
That is all.
Thank you. 1470, correct? Okay, okay, anyone else in chat on 1470? Anyone in Council Chambers like to speak on 1470? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing on 1470. Can I have a motion to adopt 1470? Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Edwards. This is a roll call on 1470. Call the roll, please.
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery.
Yes.
Council President Scobah.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, 1471, please.
Second reading of public hearing of ordinance number 1471, an ordinance entitled bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of streetscape improvements at Main Street from Maple Street to Van Ness Avenue in by and for the township of Little Falls in the county of Passaic, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,050,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate the state grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance of such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Is now chat. I'd like to speak on 1471. I'd like to speak on 1471. See, no one come forward. The public hearing on 1471 is now closed. Have a motion to adopt 1471. Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a roll call to adopt 1471.
Councilmember Patel?
Yes.
Councilmember Howard? Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scobah.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, 1472, please.
Second reading of public hearing of ordinance number 1472, an ordinance entitled bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of streetscape improvements at Stevens Avenue from Main Street to Walnut Street in by and for the township of Little Falls in the county of Passaic, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $750,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Public 1472 is now open. Does anyone wish to have comments on 1472? Is there anyone in the chat, Mr. Crucial? Seeing no one in the council chambers coming forth, the public hearing on 1472 is now closed. Kind of a motion to adopt 1472. Moved by Councilman Patel, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a roll call to adopt 1472.
Yes.
Councilmember Howard? Yes. Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scobah.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, 1473.
Number 73, an ordinance entitled bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of streetscape improvements at Union Avenue from Main Street to Walnut Street in by and for the township of Little Falls in the county of Passaic, state of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $750,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
Thank you. 1473 is now open. Mr. Crucial? Seeing no one come forth in this council chambers, the public hearing on 1473 is now closed. Can I have a motion to adopt 1473? Moved by Councilman Hamlitz, second by Councilman Vanchery. This is a roll call to adopt 1473. Please call the roll.
Yes.
Councilmember Howard? Yes. Councilmember Vanchery?
Yes.
Council President Scobah.
Yes. Councilwoman Hamlitz?
The library has started its book delivery service. Materials can be dropped at your home by just calling the library. Every Monday, the library card is needed, but if you don't have one, all you need to do is call the library and get the card. It's a great service. They've had some deliveries already last Monday. It's definitely great for anyone who cannot get to the library, for our senior population. So it's working well, and I hope that it is a well-utilized program. For the paranormal lovers and Halloween lovers in town, the New Jersey Paranormal Investigators will have a presentation of the paranormal on Tuesday, October 24th at 6:30 p.m. You do have to register at the library website for that. Also, the Friends of the Library, which is a nonprofit, which is helping the library to have extra needed funds for things and programming that they like to do. They will hold their next meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. They're still looking for membership, so you can attend the meeting tomorrow night and see what they're all about. With the market, this weekend was another great weekend. We had Doggy Halloween that was sponsored by the Little Falls Biz, which is our business association. So thank you to them for sponsoring it. It was a great event. We also had Cousins Maine Lobster, and we had Your Mom's Pot, which is a local group. Thank you to Mark Hewitt for performing at the market. We have 2 more weeks of the market. This week continues with Farm-O-Ween with our pumpkin painting, which is sponsored by our Little Falls Recreation. And lastly, this Sunday, the time has come for our first Spooky Sprint. It is our 4th annual Run Little Falls, but this year we have changed the theme to the Spooky Sprint. There's still time to register. Our registration is online at runsignup.com. At this point, it is $35 per person, and doesn't have a shirt and a swag bag while supplies last. Registration will start at 8 a.m. and the race begins at 9 a.m. So bring your best costume and come on down to the bar. That's all I have.
Councilman Murphy.
Thank you, Council President. We have had a busy 2 weeks for the Little Falls Domestic Violence Prevention Committee. Last week we had our flag raising. If you notice, the outside of town last week was purple for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we raised the flag last Monday, which was great. We had a really good turnout for that. So I just want to thank the committee for being there, the mayor and council for attending as well. It's a really nice evening. We attended the Little Falls PBA Oktoberfest, which we had a really good, some really good reception at, and I think we got another 2 new members as well that they had signed up that are interested. So we had a really good day then. We also attended the farmers market yesterday. Yesterday we were doing purple hair extensions. I think some donations for that. I think we made they made out pretty good for the first time doing it. They got maybe 15 or 20 hair extensions out, which is pretty good for the first time doing it. I just want to give a big thank you to Gina from NB Salon here in town for donating her time and helping the committee out with that. We also had a meeting, myself and Giselle Silva from the Passaic County Prosecutor's Office met with Dr. Haley from Passaic Valley High School, the superintendent over there. We had a really productive meeting on doing a event in the upcoming months on safe dating. We're looking to do 2 presentations. One's going to be during the day for students. And then at night, we're going to open up to all the residents in town as well for parents. And so we figured it'd be better to kind of separate it so parents could be away from their students because it may get a little awkward for them. And so the superintendent was very happy to be involved in this. He wants to even invite more towns, open up Woodland Park, Totowa, Clifton, I think he had mentioned, which would be awesome. So his team's gonna be getting some dates back to us. We're gonna be picking dates. He's gonna give us like 3 or 4 dates. So I'll bring that back to the committee. And then once we have that nailed down, I'll bring it back to the council. This way I can share with everybody, but it's gonna be a really, really good and fun night. That's about all I have, Council President.
Thank you. Wasn't there not a program that we're going to try to work with the seniors?
Yeah, so Giselle would also let me know if they also have a program available for elder abuse. And so I know we had a brief discussion on it, maybe doing that for the seniors in Little Falls, and it'd be a really good program. Her and her team, there's about 3 of them that do a really good presentation on that. So that was something that they also offer up.
Thank you. Excuse me. Councilman Vincenzo.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I had an update that I think everybody is going to be excited to hear about. I had a conversation last week with Passaic County Commissioner John Bartlett to get an update on the Route 46, Route 3 project that have plagued us for a very long time, 7 years to be exact. So right now, from what we were told by the group that's in charge of it, the substantial completion date is, get ready for it, November 8th. And they are on schedule to meet that date. There'll be some minor work from now until sometime early next year, but the plan is for November 8th to have fully functional lanes on that highway for Route 46 and Route 3. I know everybody's going to be happy about that. I just want to thank Commissioner Bartlett for always keeping up in the loop on what's going on. He's been very vocal to make sure that project gets done in a timely fashion. So good news on that front. You know, I mentioned briefly, just want to congrats to our transportation committee members, Bonnie and Wendy. We had a meeting last week, and one thing that we talked about that we're doing this week as a committee, along with Mayor Damiano and Council President Scova, we are actually going to meet with the residents on Houston Road. They had previously come to us with some concerns about the speeding and had asked for us to consider speed humps. So I had a chance a couple of weeks ago to sit down with our township engineer, and we did a site check and mapped out potential areas. Now, we know most of the residents are in favor of speed humps, but usually what happens when you have these meetings, I want speed humps, but I don't want it in front of my house. So this week we are going to have that presentation with the residents. We've identified that the street should use at least 4 speed humps. So we're hoping to finalize the locations. Once we do that, we'll work with the engineers to come up with a plan in terms of when we can actually install the speed humps. But, you know, we're just looking forward to that conversation this week. And I also want to thank Chief Prawl as well as Officer Panola for their help behind the scenes, pulling some data together so that we had it for the residents. I also want to mention, you know, as my colleagues said, there's been a lot of events that have been going on these past couple of weeks. We all did attend the PBA Oktoberfest. It was a great job by the Little Falls PBA 346, despite the weather. You know, people came out. It's always a good event to support. And I know several of us, including the mayor and Councilman Murphy, also competed in the cornhole tournament. My team beat the mayor's team, so we're happy about that. Yesterday as well, we were at a couple events. So the Little Falls Athletic Club held an event yesterday for a young girl who plays for the Little Falls Lady Hornet softball team. She resides in Totowa, and Sophie is battling leukemia right now. So the 12U teams held a fundraiser for everybody to just play and have some fun. And it was nice because the council was there and we got a chance to say hi to Sophie and her family. She was out in the outfield watching her friends. It was nice to see the 3 towns come together for someone. And, you know, we wish Sophie, of course, all the best. We also got the bracelets yesterday as well for Sophie. So, you know, best to her and her family. Yesterday, we also were at the firefighters mass at Holy Angels. You know, we were able to take part in that, and just grateful spending time with the firemen. And afterwards, we went up to the firehouse at Great Notch, you know, for some coffee and desserts. And then later in the day, we found ourselves at the American Legion Post 108 for their annual roast at the post. Kept us busy. And again, we somehow played cornhole, and our other colleague didn't do so well. So I didn't mention anything there. Just going to keep practicing. But, you know, we also had a busy month with some flag raisings. As you heard, we did domestic violence. We did Italian American heritage also previously. Tonight, you know, we were able to recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And like the mayor had alluded to outside, is in pink. I want to just thank Denise and Patty for being here as well. Those are 2 great women. If you don't know them, they're great. They have awesome kids as well. They know they're my faves. So thank you for being here as well. This week, I know there is also the Oktoberfest that's coming up from the Little Falls Education Foundation. Company 2 just had their mug event on Saturday. You know, this weekend is the 5K run, and I will tell you right now, I am running the 5K. Someone has to do it because every year I seem to be the only council person that runs. So hopefully some of you will sign up for that in the future. And I also just want to mention too, for those of you who have kids, the rec department did send out the winter schedule for sports. Now, so if you have kids that want to play indoor soccer, basketball, and some other different activities, please sign up. But there's also activities for adults. You know, there's the winter pickleball, and there's also the men's basketball league. So if anybody is looking to get involved, please check out the rec center update. That's it for me, Council President.
Councilman Patel, the floor is yours.
President, As pertains to the public health committee, with COVID and, the flu being prevalent, there were a few residents who had concerns about what the schools were doing. So I was lucky enough to meet with the Clifton Health Department, the superintendent, the principals and nurses of Little Falls schools. And they're on top of their being, for lack of a better phrase. They do have ionization machines in every classroom. The more filters were cleaned out prior to the start of the school year. They started using the group tap machines that are going to be cleaning all the touch points in schools every single night. And there was a concern about ventilation in general. I was assured that the schools don't have a central unit, and so if they do have AC, it's always be in the windows, which prevents it from being circulated throughout the entire school. They are going to coordinate with the Clifton Health Department, to schedule hand washing classes with the preschool, kindergarten, and first graders. So, they have a good reminder on what needs to be done. And they're also looking to set up a program concerning mask bullying, because that has been an issue in the past. As it pertains, I have a few questions about the air quality in municipal buildings in general. I know the Patron has been working with the DPW and the health department on the quality of the air in municipal buildings. We were previously waiting for a response from the industrial hygienist, which we just received. So I will be meeting with the health department, consider what our options are, see what steps that any need to be taken. For events, they have a flu vaccination clinic in Clifton this Thursday, October 19th, from 9 to 11. Again, on Tuesday, October 24th, from 3 to 5. And again, Tuesday, November 14th, from 9 to 11. The one in Little Falls is going to be held right here in this building on Monday, October 30th, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And as pertains to school, this a reminder, Operation Graduation, class of 2024, will be having a clothing and shoe drive fundraiser on Sunday, November 5th, from 9 until 2:30 at St. Valley High School. And you can visit clothingshoedrive.com for a list of items that they're accepting. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilman Patel. So for the record, this coming Sunday, October 22nd, is also First Reform's 200th anniversary. That's a big milestone. And when we talk about structures, that structure looks pretty decent for 200 years old. This past Friday was the Harvest Moon Dance, attended by 75 seniors of our town and those from outsiders. Actually, Mayor, we had quite a few outsiders this time, which was pretty inviting. That they came and they had a really good time. Thank you, a big thank you to the Girl Scouts, Sophie Wheeler, Bianca Bianetti, Anna Kiefer, Chloe Kofer, Isabel Vancherry, Victoria Kiefer for helping out. They were wonderful Girl Scouts that came and helped serve the seniors. Thanks to the council members who came, Councilman Murphy, Councilwoman Edwards, and the mayor, and Officer Renick to help serve and clean up of that event. It was well attended and it was a happy occasion. Did I not mention you? So for the record, Councilman Vancherry was there as well. Yeah, thank you, Vincent Cartron. About a week ago, Ms. Cabana and Mrs. Jones. This meeting was really productive. We are going to honor those deceased veterans who were killed in action. The township is going to be picking up that cost. Those veterans that we do not have their photographs will be a silhouette of that veteran on the banner in their recognition. The program will also be open to National Guard and reservists. We hope to have a deadline in March for this program. The fee for the banner will probably be between $125 and $150. And we hope to kick off this program within the next month. To open to the public for agenda items only. Moved by Councilman Vancherry, second by Councilman Murphy. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Mrs. Kraus?
referred to the address for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, however, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time with the sole discretion of the council president. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comments should raise their virtual hand with notification. Meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the council president will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by phone must press star 6 to unmute themselves and star 9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reaction icon and then the raise hand icon. If the prompt is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you, Mrs. Kraus. The floor is now open. You can come up, Miss. State your name.
Cindy Alexander, 10 Montclair Avenue. Landlord. That's my landlord. Good evening. I just wanted to say thank you to the 3 who voted for 1469. As I said, I would have talked to either of you guys about, I do go to Ascend in Montclair and Rise in Bloomfield. I do use marijuana. I have 3 crushed discs for bulging, herniated things. I have scoliosis, spinal stenosis, blah, 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 blah. But I do use marijuana. I also have opioid inspired diverticulitis, which is fun. Don't have that. So I do. I am the clientele. I have been there to Rise. I have been to Ascend. I have been to places in Massachusetts. I wouldn't go to places I was scared to be. And I'm not scared to go to any of these places because people are very kind. People are very helpful. People are very aware of what's going on around them. And I just want to say thank you because I hate going to Montclair. It takes me an hour. So I appreciate thinking forward because it really is a forward thinking thing. And it's not so much of a stigma anymore. You know, as I said, I don't want to buy pot that has fentanyl in it. And if I go down to a neighborhood, anybody, I don't know what I'm getting. So thank you. Appreciate it. I know this was, a hot button topic for a lot of people, but I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you for speaking and coming to the podium. Does the council have any questions or comments regarding for the speaker? The floor is still open. Mr. Kusia, anyone in the chat? I have a motion to close the public comment by Councilman Cherry. Second by, sorry, I didn't hear. Second by Councilman Patel. All those in favor of closing the public comment, do so by saying aye. All those opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Before we close this meeting, I want to thank staff for working with me in getting the agenda set. This was quite a lot of information and who did this that had to be put into this meeting. Thank you. Can I have a motion to close this meeting? Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Phillips. All those in favor? All those opposed? This meeting is now closed.